Sean Strickland versus Alex Pereira takes place this weekend in a feature fight of UFC 276, Adesanya versus Cannonier, and I can't wait for this title elimination bout in the middleweight division. I guess it's only really a title elimination bout if Adesanya does beat Cannonier this weekend. If Cannonier beats Adesanya in an upset in the main event, I guess they're going to do a trilogy, and the winner of this one will either be a short notice replacement opponent for that card, or maybe they'll take on another contender in the middleweight division. But I do believe that Adesanya is going to beat Cannonier this weekend in the main event, and I also believe the winner of this will be next in line, because who else is there at middleweight right now if Adesanya does get by a dangerous contender in Jared Cannonier? This is a big one. A really big one. I know a lot of people are looking forward to the storyline of maybe a Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya matchup in the UFC, and I see a lot of people just can't wait for that. And even whenever someone brings up Alex Pereira's name and the potential fight between him and Adesanya in the UFC, Adesanya cannot stand it whatsoever. I mean, it really gets under his skin, and that's a really interesting factor. If that fight ever were to sort of like materialize, maybe Pereira could get under his skin a little bit, because of course Izzy's not used to fighting a guy who's beaten twice before in his career and knocked him out as well. I mean, he can justify losing to Blachowicz because it was upper division, but Alex Pereira beat him at his weight class, KO'd him brutally as well, and that's all out there, millions of views on YouTube, and he'll have a lot of bragging rights in the build-up against Adesanya as well. So I'm looking forward to this one. Really am. I would love to see Adesanya versus Pereira in the UFC. I feel as though Sean Strickland's going to get the upset win, and that's crazy to say. It's not crazy to say that Sean Strickland's going to win. It's crazy to say that this is going to be an upset win. I don't understand that whatsoever. He's number 5 in the division. He's beat a bunch of guys at middleweight. He's been in the UFC for like 8-9 years now. Like, he's been around for a very long time. He's been doing MMA for about 13 years since he was a young kid. Like, he was training since 13 years of age in an MMA gym. And now he's taken on Alex Pereira, who I know is a kickboxing world champion that beat Adesanya, I get it, but is also, like, only recently committed to MMA. Like, he started training seriously in MMA a year ago. Before that, he was defending his belt in kickboxing and actually lost that fight, and then came and fought Andreas Michailidis. And Andreas Michailidis took him down in the first round and controlled him on the ground the entire time. Eventually, in the second round, Pereira landed that flying knee, but, like, he still got out-grappled for an entire round by Andreas Michailidis, who I get is good, and a BJJ black belt, which is pretty easy to come by nowadays. Like, so many people are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts. But Sean Strickland has been training MMA grappling for, like, what, nearly 20 years? And Alex Pereira's going to stuff those takedowns. Now, the big deal is not just... The question isn't if Strickland can take him down and out-grapple him. I think a lot of people believe that he can, but I think a lot of people are asking if he will. I believe if Strickland does, he will submit Alex Pereira in the first round. I've actually made a video on my second channel, the MMA Guru Clips. I'm going to put a link to it in the comments below. The MMA Guru Clips, I break down all of the fight film of fighters and stuff like that in the build up to their fights. And if there's a great KO, I'll review it on that second channel with the footage on screen and slow it down and break it down after the fights have happened as well. So go check that out, and it'll be me breaking down Sean Strickland's submission win in his debut in the UFC on short notice at 23 years of age against a 21-7 MMA veteran in Bubba McDaniel, who had taken on some really big names, and Strickland just choked him out easily in the first round, ragdolled him to the ground, and just subbed him immediately into the first round. Easy work for Sean Strickland. And I broke that down on the second channel, but I think that's going to be a factor here. The question is, of course, though, is crazy, wacky Sean Strickland going to go out there and look to jab with Alex Pereira for 3 rounds, 15 minutes? That's the big question. And I'm worried that he will do that, but I don't think he's going to, because I've acquired some evidence to suggest that Strickland is going to take this guy down and grapple with him. And if you go over to Sean Strickland's Instagram right now, which is banned every other month, so you might have to find like a new version of Sean Strickland's Instagram and stuff like that, but on his Instagram, he has been training grappling for his fights. If you watch a lot of his sparring sessions, like even here against Roy Nelson, it's him in on a takedown against Roy Nelson. Roy Nelson runs some good grappling training and stuff like that. And Sean Strickland was in there trying to take him down, ragdoll him. In the third picture of that very post as well, I believe that's Masad Bektic maybe, I'm not even too sure. It looks a bit like him, I don't even know who that guy is. But either way, Sean Strickland's drilling takedowns on him, trying to take him down and stuff like that. And people in the comments are even saying Sean Nurmagomedov is going to do a lot of mauling and all of this kind of stuff. And I feel as though he's going to. There's so much evidence to suggest it. Okay, he's taken down Chris Curtis, not Curtis Blades. Jesus, that's a big ask. He's taken down Chris Curtis in sparring a lot of times. There's pictures of that going on. And Chris Curtis just showed amazing grappling defense against Rodolfo Vieira. Darren Till and Khamzat Chimaev were training with Sean Strickland and Marvin Vettori. And Till was saying after the sparring sessions and the training sessions, his prediction on Sean Strickland versus Alex Pereira was that Strickland's going to take him down and submit him in the first round. There's reasons why he's using that as a prediction. You know what I'm saying? He's using it because he's seen Strickland, arguably, taking down people in sparring and preparing to take someone down and submit them. And I think that's what Strickland's going to do. And Khamzat Chimaev was training with him. Why are you training with Khamzat Chimaev unless you want to get some work in the grappling? Strickland just went against Jack Hermansson. He stuffed takedowns for 5 rounds. You don't get that level of takedown defense without also practicing a really good level of offense as well. I believe Sean Strickland's going to go out there, mess around on the feet a little bit with Alex Pereira, throw some jabs, throw some front kicks, try and get him to back up a little bit and give him some respect. Maybe a couple of wheel kicks here and there and stuff like that. Just be a little bit silly and then say something like, "Come on, Alex, let's scrap, man." And then Alex is going to try and throw something and Strickland's going to blast double leg, take him down and submit him in the first round easily. I think there's enough evidence to suggest that. Johnny Eblum thanked Sean Strickland for his entire training camp in the build-up to the Gegard Mousasi fight that he just had over at Bellator, and he ragdolled Mousasi for 5 rounds, took him down every round and controlled him on the ground. A great grappler at ATT. Strickland's been down there at ATT, and people are talking about the grappling, and I feel as though Strickland's, although he's never admitted it, he slowly tried to disguise the fact that he is going to grapple out there. He doesn't want to be the guy to grapple because you know how he feels about that. Let's do the man dance. But Strickland also isn't the guy to go out there and have a boring fight over 5 rounds the way he did against Jack Hermansson. And I hate seeing that comment of people saying, like, Strickland, for a guy like a psycho, like, fights so boring. All of his fights are so boring. Anyone who says that in a comment section ever on Instagram and stuff like that is literally just outing themselves as a new fan to MMA that's never watched a Strickland fight in their life. They might as well just have typed in the Instagram comment, "I'm a casual fan." Strickland is not boring. Every fight of his has been really fun. He took down Brendan Allen, had a good fight there, finished him in the second round. He set a strike record in the middleweight division against Uriah Hall. Like, this guy doesn't have boring fights. He had an entertaining 3-round scrap with Krzysztof Jotko, and Jotko fights are pretty boring, but he made it reasonably fun. People have not watched Sean Strickland fight if they think he's boring unless they've only watched his last fight against Jack Hermansson. And it showed me that even though Sean Strickland is this wild guy that wants to get like scrappy in there and have violence and have fun fights and entertain the fans and stuff like that, it showed me that he was willing to go against his code as like a manly, man-dancey fighter to go out there and get a win over Jack Hermansson. He could have tried to make it entertaining and gotten taken down and subbed. He didn't want to. He played it calm, out-jabbed Hermansson for 5 rounds, and won the points game and won the decision because of it. And he said afterwards, "I got to get the paycheck. I could have been getting a title shot if I won this one. There could have been a title fight on the line. I wanted to take it really patient. I didn't want to get caught by something. I wanted to be really calm, land the shots that I needed to every single round, and win this fight by decision if I needed to. I'm sorry about my performance," and all of that kind of stuff. But that told me he's willing to go against his MMA morals to just get a win now that he's in this position to earn a title fight. And now that they've said that the winner of this fight between him and Pereira is likely next for the title shot in the middleweight division if Adesanya beats Cannonier, I reckon he's going to go for the path of least resistance again, take down Pereira, and out-grapple him. I really do. Bruno Silva got Alex Pereira down. He's not really a grappler. He's a striker, scrappy striker. Kind of new to MMA. He's got a lot of experience. He's got a lot of fights. He was very active. Pereira got back up in that fight, back to his feet. But Strickland has a different level of experience in jiu-jitsu to where he can keep you on the ground if he gets you there. And it's not like we've seen flawless takedown defense from Pereira. I mean, he got submitted, I believe, in his MMA debut by a rear naked choke. I know that was a while ago, and he hadn't been training as much, and he's been working with Glover, but even working with Glover ain't going to be there for this camp going live rounds with him. He just fought Yuri Prohaska for 5 rounds in an absolute war. He's an old man. He's probably relaxing on holiday right now with his championship pay. So maybe like Glover's there giving him information, but he's not getting those live rounds in the grappling with Glover. And listen, maybe Glover is so good that all of that grappling skill is rubbed off on Pereira, and Pereira's now going to be a completely different man in the grappling department and be able to stuff every takedown Strickland shows him. I just don't think that's a likely choice, especially when he's a favourite. How can I not take this slight underdog in Sean Strickland here in a fight where it's up to him to win, in my opinion? Of course, Alex Pereira is going to have an advantage on the feet. He could land big shots. Bruno Silva gave him a tough fight until the 3rd round, where Pereira started to break him down and land those power shots to the body and front kick to the body and some big shots to the head as well that rocked him and stuff like that. But at the same time, I feel as though he's got this one in the bag. Strickland does. Alex Pereira's tough on the feet, but he couldn't put away Bruno Silva. Strickland's got pretty good striking defense. I think he's got like a stat record for striking defense in the middleweight division as well. He rarely gets hit in the face per shots thrown and stuff like that. He keeps himself back away. Of course, the body's going to be open. Maybe Alex Pereira could chop at the legs and chop at the body and stuff like that. That could be a good factor for him. But if he does that, he's going to leave himself vulnerable to be taken down and get a kick caught and tipped over and end up on the ground and have to defend himself there. I truly believe that Sean Strickland's going to go out there, abandon his tough guy persona, grapple with Alex Pereira, beat him up on the ground a little bit as well, because that's what Andreas Michailidis never did. Sure, he got Alex Pereira to the ground, but he's not really a big guy for the division. Neither is Strickland, but Andreas never landed good punches on Pereira to make him worry about something to where some of those submission opportunities can come from. You got to land some ground and pound to get your opportunities to find a submission. And Strickland took down Uriah Hall 4 times. He took down Brendan Allen. And when he was on the ground with Hall, he was shoveling in some punches as Hall was trying to get back up to his feet. In his submission win over Bubba McDaniels in his debut 8 years ago, he was landing vicious ground and pound shots on Bubba McDaniels and hurting him on the ground. And then he found the rear naked choke and sunk it in. That's something that Andreas was never doing. And I think if Strickland can take down an MMA veteran of so many years to be 21-7 in MMA, and submit him in the 1st round 8 years ago, what's he going to do to a guy who only just started taking this seriously a year ago? This ain't no Andreas Michailidis. This is Sean Strickland. Hell of a win streak at middleweight. Put together a bunch of good wins. Even against Usman. Usman beat Sean Strickland. It's not like he dominated him on the ground. Strickland was up on his knees, defending okay, working his way back up. Usman would take him down again. And that was all after Usman shattered his orbital in round 1. A really well-aged win for Usman to have. He landed a big right hand, shattered Strickland's orbital in round 1 in that fight. Strickland went down, and he still was able to not get mauled on the ground and mounted and beaten up and submitted or choked or TKO'd. He stayed in there. He's got good grappling. He's been training it for years. And I think this is where he's going to pull it out to get a win and call out Israel Adesanya on the mic. I think he's going to take advantage if he's at the press conference to build some kind of beef with Adesanya there as well. And I reckon we'll see how it goes down. But I think Strickland's smart enough to know his best way of winning. Alex Pereira's very good. He's got a good flying knee that he could go to if Strickland shoots. But if you watch some of the takedowns that Strickland gets, he rarely shoots double legs and single legs. Almost never happens. He gets a body lock in the clinch and then sweeps you over your own legs, throws you to the ground, gets you against a cage, uses an outside trip and gets you down to the ground, sweeps you, gets you off balance and then drives you over yourself against a cage. He's got different ways of shooting that aren't blasting double legs at range that are going to get you hit by a flying knee. I think he's got this one in the bag. Sean Strickland, submission, rear naked choke in the 1st round. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.